I'm Edwin.
And I am Jack, and welcome back
to the 950 Club.
Woohoo! Yeah!
And now we start our third episode of our summer review / fall preview.
Yep. It's a stacked one. And
Yep.
surprisingly so, because fall for this year is just like last year. It's going to be beyond proportion.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some big shows. There's some highly anticipated shows. And there's some follow-up shows that I think are going to blow people's minds. But before we get to that, we're going to do our top 5 from the summer season.
Oh, yeah.
And Jack, I'll let you start with your number 5.
My number 5 is when will Ayumu make his move?
That made it into your top 5.
It did.
Wow.
It did.
Okay.
It's one of those things where I know you have that one show that's up there, and we'll have the discussion. But this one snuck in because I just like it. It's charming. It's the only one I sadly haven't watched most of compared to the others. Even like the ones I didn't like My Stepmother Is My Ex. I watched more episodes of that one. But it's also one where I get the picture. I'm in for a ride. It's the turn off my brain show.
I get it. I get it with that one. That was going to be one of my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Like, I think that's a show that people should watch. I like it. Like I said, I think in that genre, I think it's been done better. And I think you mentioned the shows like A Heron-san or My Senpai Is Annoying that I think managed to do it a little bit better. I think the tight focus of that show too, where it's mostly just the two of them, make it hard to root for the show in general because it's such a tight focus on just the two characters. And then also another one of my honorable mentions would be My Stepmother's Daughter Is My Ex.
Yeah.
I think that one is very charming too.
It ended up being charming. Yeah. It definitely needs the attention. And like I said, once you watch it on the app with the comments and stuff, you'll get to enjoy it more because it's irony play. The title is silly as it is, but once you drop that,
I think it's a show where I think it's really charming and I wish it would get more attention.
Yeah.
But I think it lacks the ability to break out and establish it itself as a better show. So that's kind of sad, but I hope that you guys listening to us, you guys like it and watch that one.
And I forgot to mention my honorable mention. My honorable mention is Tekken Bloodline.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I only saw the first episode. It was one of those things where I'm like, I was hoping it would be rather a movie because it's Tekken. I love Tekken and I can't keep up. So much out there. And it's on Netflix as well. I rarely watch Netflix as it is now. But I had to double check. I'm like, is it an anime? Because it's nicely produced. It initially started off with the English translation. I'm like, maybe they're doing an Avatar thing. I don't know. But I had to double check. It's Studio Hibari. And yes, straight up from Japan.
And it is an anime.
Straight up
not
anime.
Live action.
Not live action bullshit.
All right.
Yeah. It's fun. And the animation is quite quaint. The first episode is really cool. I'm a sucker for the old 90s movie. It's so 90s anime. It's pretty charming. And of course, it's a fighting game. The plot's out the window. And even the first episode, it's set up like Karate Kid. I'm like, that's what you go with the motions.
Okay.
And Hirochi is definitely a villain, but he's a grandfather now. So
I get it.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Overlord.
Okay.
Season 4.
Yeah, and it was surprisingly your number 1 for Isekai.
Yeah, I knew that by the end of the season, they got the magic back. And I think that it was, while I would have liked to have seen, and the reason it's low on it's my number 5, is I would have liked to have seen more of the characters from previous seasons interacting and getting to do things whether it be battles, and that might be, I mean, because we still have the big epic battle where he essentially, but will it be epic?
Yeah.
We don't know, because that's the thing about, you never know. Overlord sets things up, and then you never know how this is going to play out, and that's one of the things I really like about the show is you don't know what direction this show is going to go in.
Yeah.
You don't know how this is going to play out, and I think for any anime, you know that Ainz is going to win in the end. You don't know how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that always keeps the show very fresh and interesting, even if it's in its fourth season. And I want to see where it goes. So I'm excited to see the last 2 episodes of the season. I wasn't at the beginning of the season, but it quickly moved up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my number 4, Uncle from Another World.
All right.
Yep. It's one of those shows. I definitely advise you to watch it, get the gist of it. I just want to add on this one thing. I love the video game lingo.
Yeah.
And I hate to admit it, I am the uncle from another world because that's my relationship with my nephew. I try to tell him all about the classics, Power Stone, Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda. He's got into Legend of Zelda with Breath of the Wild, but he's not at that age yet, and I'm still like, come on, let's play some Teenage Mutant Turtles in time.
Well, here you're preaching to the choir, but
because you're an uncle as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not an uncle, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
You're a godfather. There you go. That's the word.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, game wise, I'm like, I get it. Like, I get his obsession. Like, for me, it might not be so much with the Sega system, but like with PlayStation, my PlayStation 1 and Tomb Raider. Yeah.
And that's the thing I like about this season too. With the Call of the Night, Nazuna plays with Sony, like throwback with the first PlayStation. So
he was thrown into, essentially he was 17 when he was thrown into this other world.
When Dreamcast came out, he's a big Sega nerd.
Well, my thing is, it's like at that age, everybody's like that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has the thing that they're obsessed with, whether it be cars or football or video games or comic books or manga.
Yep.
Everybody is obsessed with that one thing in their lives that kind of defines them. And so this was the thing that kind of defined him.
It kept him stable, and it saved his life, ironically.
Yeah, well, because he just kept thinking about the scenarios from video games. And it's like, I don't know, it might have kept him alive, but I don't think it allowed him to take advantage of some of the situations that he could have taken advantage of.
Good point.
Yeah. I think if he had been a little bit more experienced in the world or allowed himself to grow a little bit more, we would have had a very different show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your number 4 then?
My number 4 is Rent a Girlfriend.
Okay. And that's my number 3.
Yeah. Well, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So we can talk about this together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said before, when you were talking about this in the Slice of Life Corner episode, I thought that this show really grew this season. You said it's a transitional, but I think that
I'm hoping it is too, because they can't rush it, especially at this point.
No, I don't, and I know they could resolve it this season. They could resolve it this season, but I'm kind of hoping they don't, because there's a lot of plot threads that I think need to be worked out in a third season.
And even her mommy, she's held back tremendously in this season, and to her benefit. I give her a benefit of the doubt, even though first season she's like the devil.
I liked her response to Ruka-chan.
Yeah.
She
completely normal, I would argue.
Well, my thing was, it's like she sees Kazuya as such a loser. She really has that mindset where he's a loser version.
Yeah.
He's a loser virgin, and she thinks that she can come around and do whatever she likes to him and toy with his emotions or whatever, because he's just,
whatever.
He's whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that it annoyed her to no end that he had a rent-a-girlfriend, because I think she likes the idea that she can come and toy with him whenever she wants. But I think seeing an actual girlfriend where Ruka's confessing kind of confused her, but then made her think that maybe, Kazuya's moving away from the rent-a-girlfriend. And so you get all of these women who are kind of like rivals with each other for his affections.
Little by little. Even with Sumi. And
But Shizuhara doesn't want to be.
No, it's
Yeah.
fell upon her, and
Well,
and it's coy. I like how the show handles because that's the main focus.
well, he's so smitten with her,
Yeah,
and he's so genuine in his emotions, and his feelings toward
it's just
her.
the barrier, the wall.
Well, yeah, because it's like I kind of see this the way that I saw Hunger Games, where Katniss did not have time for a romance. She was just trying to survive. And so in her mind, she didn't care about Peeta or Gale. It's like that didn't even register, that kind of like life didn't register to her because, she was the one supporting her family there on the edge after her father had died.
Yeah,
So I get the same thing from Chizuhara where it's like she wants to show her grandmother. She doesn't have any parent. Her parents are gone.
yeah,
All she has is her grandmother, and she's struggling to balance college, a job,
acting
and
career.
an acting career.
Yeah,
She doesn't have time for Kazuya and his emotions and feelings. But because he's been there for her, and he wants to be there for her, and he wants to support her and help her, and he doesn't want her to be alone, I mean, that's starting to affect her.
yeah,
And it's like that wall, I think that you talked about, is starting to come down.
yeah.
And so I think she's very confused. I think she's starting to care about him in a way that I don't even think that she expected. And we certainly didn't expect it. And I don't think she expected
Yeah,
it either.
we assumed it would be more for laughs, and of course with Iron you play with the title and all these girls coming in and out, and
Well,
it's becoming a thing. It's becoming more than that.
it's
Actually,
still played for the laughs, but
the dates are cute.
yeah, the dates are all cute and embarrassing and humorous.
Yeah,
But I think that it's definitely taking itself a little bit more seriously this season, and I think it's to the benefit of the show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well said. And if I may ask, what is your third one now?
My number 3 is Call of the Night.
Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that made it into my top 5, and it made it to number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. Like I said, we could spend an entire episode.
It deserves its own episode.
It
I do
does.
admit.
I think so, especially that close.
Especially opening and closing.
I want to talk about that closing because
The structure is sexy, isn't
dude, there's things going on.
it?
It makes Nazuna's character sexy,
Yeah.
but at the same time, almost like she's angry about the fact that you find her sexy. There's that play. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
we saving the ammo.
yeah. We're gonna talk. Well, I don't know that we want to put it that way.
Oh no, you know what I mean.
But yeah, we're definitely going to. There's definitely going to be a long conversation about Call of the Night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
a much longer conversation. Yeah.
All right.
So, what is your number 2, or what? Wait, what's your number 3?
3 was Rent a Girlfriend.
Okay. So, Jack, what's your number 2?
My number 2, Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting.
That's my number 2.
All right, good.
There we go.
It is, and we haven't even talked about the best episode of the season. In my
Team Jetty.
No, that one's the most effective. That
I
one
know,
is a
I
selling point. The second freaking episode. And it's a theme of this year, not just for the season, because one category I like to do for our end of the year is the best episode for each season. Akabe Sailor Uniform. They have a really cool episode with guitarist, and that endears to my heart. But this second episode of Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, it's the heartstrings, man. Because it's an episode that could have been like the finale, because it deals with the little girl who's dealing with her mom that is in a coma, and you find out that she's in a coma rather than dead, because the first episode plays that she's hurt or maybe even dead, but she's still in a coma, and the little girl still hasn't gone to see her, and she's like, it's one of those early things you question in life, because it scares you. You don't want to see your parent or guardian or someone you love in
that state, that weakness. Yeah.
In general, I had personal experiences like that too. I totally relate to that, because it's frustrating. You just don't know the emotions, and that whole episode's all about figuring out your emotions. And it alludes to our Kirishima, the main character, how it is definitely the focus. The episode's not a focus on him, surprisingly.
No,
It's more on her
and her emotions.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, the complexity of this show and the fact that it chooses to explore those kind of relationships
Yeah,
makes it a totally different show, I think, than what we expected.
exactly.
And that it's not your traditional Yakuza show. It's not. This
Far
isn't.
from it.
Yeah, this isn't about. I mean, there are moments where it's fights about turf.
Yeah.
Turf warfare, where like there are people pretending to be Kirishima, and then he goes and he beats the crap out of them to the point where they're frightened for their lives.
Yeah.
And then there's moments like this where the little lady is like, she feels like her mom doesn't want her. And you have to deal with the emotional weight of that. It's like, how does this child process the fact that her mother is in a coma and won't respond to her?
Yeah.
And it's a very touching moment between Kirishima and the little lady where it's like, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this, I'm having all the feels here. Because it's like, and it explores that. It explores the relationship. It explores the themes of family and relationship. The sense of reality. It's like, yeah, she wasn't here because it's like, you can't have a baby at a Yakuza headquarters. That's a bad idea. So for a long part of her life, somebody else, she was away, being taken care of by somebody else,
Yeah.
because there's that level of practicality
Yeah.
where, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Well, there's a cool sequence in the first episode where he's walking to school and there's a rival gang about to attack. It's like a video game. I wish that was a video game, to be honest. Yakuza guiding the little girl, the babysitter, on the prowl. I forgot to mention the show also reminds me of one of my favorite Denzel Washington movies, Man on Fire.
There's definitely Man on Fire
Yes,
vibes.
yes,
There's
so-
definitely the attachment that they have to each other. It's like he's like a big brother.
Yeah. Movie is very subtle with like the action overtones. It's actually dramatic.
Yeah.
And then it reminds me a lot of Leon the Professional as well. So yeah, definitely dynamics there are apparent.
Yeah, it's a much, even though it plays a lot of things for laughs,
Yeah.
it's a much more emotionally serious show.
Yeah.
You guys have to watch this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, as far as slice of life goes, I think it's one of the best ones out there.
And speaking of which,
Now it's time for our number ones. Jack, what is your number one show of the summer season?
Call of the Night.
Oh, you called it? Okay. Okay.
We talked so much about this show. I will give this one special notice because, like I mentioned, we're doing an end of the year soon, relatively soon. I know, a year has gone by. Phew.
Pretty fast, yeah.
So, for early contender for best voice actress performance is the voice of Nazuna by Sora Amamiya, who also did Akame, fun fact. And
Oh,
she's
nice.
done a whole slew of other stuff. She's talented as heck. And if it were like a real acting category thing, she would definitely be nominated.
She can definitely do her, she definitely does. There's moments where you can sense her repulsion.
Yeah, that's the best part about it, to be
Like,
honest.
yeah.
Especially in Japanese, because you rarely get that sense of tone where like people annoyed because most of it's dry. But her,
Yeah.
she's like, eh?
Yeah, when she doesn't want to talk about relationships.
Intimacy in general.
Yeah, when he mentions love and she's just like, this is so cringe.
Yeah.
It really comes across, but she also pulls off those sexy moments when she's
Yeah.
trying to tease him.
And one thing I forgot to mention with the music, with the Creepy Nuts music, the trailer from last year when we first saw the trailer, holy cow, it's one of
Yeah.
the best trailers I've ever seen.
I agree.
And her selling point was really good because she has that subtle tones like, you're going to join into the night. Like she has this like nice, like her overtones. Mind you, she also does Akame. Akame is very like subdued
Yeah.
and action like straightforward. No, this one's like a flavor upon flavor with her voice with it.
Yeah.
Unique.
There's definitely some range there to her
Yeah.
performances. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to give a special shout out to her. And that's all I'm going to say from number one because, like I said, we steamrolled.
We've discussed this and we're definitely going to discuss it more.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So for my number one show of the summer season 2022, Lycoris Recoil. Now, I know we haven't mentioned this at all in the last few episodes, but I fell in love with the show so hard, it's ridiculous. Chisato and Takina, I'm like, this fast-paced Charlie's Angels kind of like, I don't even begin to know it's just so cool. It's
Let me ask you this: is your selling point more with relationships or with the action?
it's everything.
Okay,
I
okay,
think the action delivers.
okay.
I think every time
For me, it's the action, to be honest.
there's action all over the place, I think the relationship delivers. I think
That's where I'm stalling with.
the relationship, really, the back and forth of it. Have you watched the Boxers episode? Did you watch the Boxers episode?
Yes,
Yes.
it has a charm.
What are you talking about, man? This show is the fast-paced dialogue, Shisato's personality, Takina's like, I don't know, dude. That closing, I mean,
The closing's cute.
the closing is adorable.
I don't like the opening, but closing's cute.
Yeah, I have my issues with the opening, and I think that's one of the issues that I have with the show is that the structure, the whole like secret organization kind of thing.
Yes. You're going down my rabbit hole.
Well, I feel that detracts from the show, but it's not the main focus of the show.
But it feels like it is, though. That's the problem.
Well, it's a bait and switch. It's like, okay, here's what this show is about.
Yeah.
But not really. That's not really what the show's about.
I don't know, dude.
The organization is a necessary evil.
Okay.
It's like we need to have a boss that gives you trouble. We need to have rivals that that can be rivals, but that you want to work with at the end of the show.
That's the thing that threw me off, to be honest.
I mean, those are just plot points.
They are, but it's like, I don't know. Because
they're plot points, and they're plot points, and those people are there to serve a purpose.
Okay.
And so they're not as maybe developed as they could have been, but I think that the rest of the show with Shisato and Takina's relationship, I think that gets developed very, very well. And I think it's very, very cute, and I think it's very well done.
Well, let's explain the setup.
Okay. So the setup is that there's this secret organization in Japan that's Lycoris.
Yes.
And so they're high school orphans. They're female girls who are orphaned and then taken in by the organization
Trained
to kill. And they will kill anybody who disrupts society, whether it be criminals, drug dealers, gun runners,
They do it
terrorists.
swift. They do it fast.
They take it out, and so the society just doesn't see that.
Yeah.
Those people do not exist
It
within
sets up.
society.
It sets up kind of cool with that. I do admit that. Similar to Psychopaths.
Yeah, it's an extermination of undesirable characters.
Yes.
And that's what they do, and they do it very well. And so this is the world that Takina and Shisato come from. They're trained assassins. Shisato has decided that that's not the life that she wants anymore, but she's the best of the best. So essentially what happens is that they keep her on retainer. Whenever they need her, whenever a situation pops up that they can't handle, she's the one they go to.
And she's not a typical retainer, let's put it that way.
No, Shisato is her own person.
She's a bubbly 180.
Yep, she's a bright, cheerful John Wick. Yep.
And I'm not crazy about John Wick or the character itself.
Yeah. Well, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like she will resolve the situation one way or another.
It's just in her own way, in the most ridiculous fashion.
Well, because she doesn't want to hurt people.
Yeah.
And it comes into play with her character and her past, and all of that unfolds as the season progresses. But I think the relationship between the two characters, I don't know, man. I found it humorous. I found it adorable. And then you mix in the action, and I'm like, it won.
Well,
for me, it won. I don't understand your reluctance, Jack.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing this in the sharks. I'm not even giving it a 6 out of 10. It could fall there because I still have finished it. 180 episodes are parents. I spieled on that too long. Tonally, definitely over the place, but it's the purpose. I admit that. The relationships. Now, the key word are relationships. One show I compare this to is a limited series called Burn the Witch.
Okay.
The creator from Bleach.
And we both enjoyed Burn the Witch.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
The thing, though, with that relationship is that they're kindreds. You feel like they definitely are on the same page. This one, I just don't get it.
Well, no, because Takina, they're not on the same page.
Yeah.
They're not on the same page until the end. because Takina wants something very, very different than Shisato
Yeah,
wants.
she's straightforward to the book.
Well, Takina wants back in.
Yeah.
Takina has been kicked out. She didn't follow orders. She did the right thing, but she didn't. She saved her comrade, but she didn't follow orders. So she's been kicked out. And now she's Sato's problem. And Takina doesn't care about anything but getting back in. She's the loyal, determined girl. She wants back in. That's her life. So there's always kind of like this uncomfortable like separation between them because Shisato is trying to show Takina that there's another way of life.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, like, because she's such a strong personality, it outweighs it. And it's such a fragile type of experience. Well, and of course, a show similar that's set up perfectly and it's definitely its own thing without the show, Recoil would have never been existed. It's Full Metal Panic. And yeah, there's, because of the structure of the genres, that sets up the tone of the dynamics. Yeah,
that comparison, I mean, they're tonally Full Metal Panic is
and that's why I initially think of, because it feels like a throwback, to be honest. This show is a throwback.
It definitely feels like, it reminds me of Gunslinger Girls a little
That
bit.
as well. Yeah, that's a good example.
It has that vibe to it, but I didn't find it as dark or depressing as some of those other shows.
Yeah, like Full Metal.
Yeah,
Panic.
like there's a real sense of nihilism in some of those shows that's not present here.
That's what makes me uneasy about this one, because I'm so used to those other shows.
Well, I think that
because it shows her like the high energy, like I got put on a face to do these things, and it's like, but you kill people.
The question becomes, well, she doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to. She has to. Yeah.
She doesn't kill people. She uses rubber bullets.
Well, yeah, that's part of
she uses zip ties.
Yeah.
She uses rubber bullets, and she uses her ability, because in this world there are people born with special abilities that the Allen Institute kind of fosters within them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to Full Metal Panic in a way, because
and Psychopaths,
those powers were present there as well.
Yeah.
They were granted by science. You're not really clear where those powers come from in this one. You just know that Shisato and the main villain, which is Majima, he has them too. So you're like, all right, where do these powers come from? It's a question that, I don't think is going to get answered within this season.
Yeah.
But is interesting. Yeah, dude, I really like this one. I really like it.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it's the worst thing ever. I'm not saying like your choice is wrong. I get it. In similar to Call of Night, it's definitely picking up with the motions with the fandom. Cosplay, of course, art. The art's tremendous. It's a really gorgeous looking show.
Yeah, it really, like, the action scenes I think are amazing. The drones, the chase scenes, the humor.
It's just preferences for me at the end of the day. And like I said, Burn the Witch, Full Metal Panic, I'm so used to those compared to this.
Well,
and what I say is like organic, not necessarily, but like I said, it's a throwback. And throwbacks do that. They reach for the old stuff to try something new.
Well, I think that there are always shows that are going to be better.
Yeah.
There's shows that are at the top of the game.
And they'll influence your future critiques. It's just how it is.
Yeah. I just think that for me this season, this show had moments where I was just like, yes, that is...
Especially the action. Action is gorgeous, too.
The action is gorgeous.
But it throws me off because it has a John Wick motions as well. And I'm not crazy about John Wick.
Well, there's a moment where Shisato faces off against Takina's rival.
Mm-hmm.
And they have made Takina feel like shit.
Yeah.
And she just cold cocks this bitch with her gun. And doesn't even, and in that moment, she could have finished off the battle that they're having, the practice battle that they're having, but she doesn't. She waits for Takina to get off her ass, come in there, join the fight, and she lets her take her out. When she could have perfectly, and I think it was in that moment that I fell in love with that show, because I'm like, yes, the person that you felt needed to get smacked got smacked. The person got defended, and their relationship is just it's a I don't know.
Well, it's one of those things with the character, like that scenario, the character's throwing me off. It's like you're in the same edges. You have to be professional. Things like that. I don't know. It's like one of those setup things where I'm like, and like I said, it's not bad. I've watched as much as I can. I didn't like watch one and done. But
I
I'm not sold.
I say finish out the season.
I will. I
If
will.
you don't like it, then just let me know.
Fair.
We'll talk about it.
More than fair.
All right.
All right.
All right. So let's get into our fall preview.
And yes, this is a granddaddy. Edwin's going to be doing the anime side of things. I'm going to do the manga side of things because I feel like manga needs a little bit of like a say because there's some interesting titles coming out.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to be handling. Okay. So I'll be talking about our fall 22 anime shows.
And to be honest, I'm going to see if you mentioned this one particular one because that's my number one anticipated. So
okay, we'll see.
It's going to be like a gotcha game.
We'll go through the list of shows that are up and coming.
Yep.
That we're looking for. Well, you know me and Isekai.
All right, well, we checking the boxes.
Well, I'm always looking for new Isekai to watch, and the Eminence in Shadow is one that I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
This one was announced, I think, last season. I know that I've heard from this before.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't come out. And I know that it's this guy who gets reincarnated into another world, and he's building a team of people to fight an organization that he's made up. It turns out the organization is real, and everybody knows about it except him.
Oh boy!
So this should be fun. I want to see what they do with it. I want to see how they develop it. You know me; I'm always looking for variation. I want that isekai trope, but I want them to play with it, the level of sophistication, the story, the dialogue. I'm always interested to see where they're going with stuff. Uzaki-Chan wants to hang out. Season 2.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm excited for that one.
Yep.
I'm excited for this.
It came out last season or last summer, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and then that one kind of caught me off guard. I thought with the first few episodes, I'm like, she's too annoying. I'm not gonna be able to watch this.
She's in the season girl trope kind of thing. Of course, the other ones ahead of her, Nagatoro, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? There's a few others.
Oh yeah, we could make a list.
My Jessup Darling.
Yeah, we could make a list of people that fit this trope.
Yeah,
but I thought that
she's on her own. I don't give her flack.
No, it caught me off guard, and I ended up liking it, and I'm excited to see where they go. I'll be happy to spend more time with those two characters. Yeah, that's definitely where I'm at with that. Another one I want to watch is Reincarnated as a Sword.
Oh yeah. I've seen the manga.
Yeah, I've read.
Or you talked about the manga.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I don't remember if I talked about the manga. It's one that I've wanted to read.
Oh, my mistake. I got confused with the coworker I used to have.
So watching him come back as a sword and him forming a relationship with the, I believe it's a Beast Girl.
Yeah.
And so that should be fun to watch. And then there's the, I've somehow gotten stronger when I improved my farm skills.
Yeah.
There's another isekai that I'll be looking out for.
Yeah.
Okay. And now on to one of the bigger ones. That time I got reincarnated as a slime movie. Now we always talk about the movies. Sometimes they're hard to watch because they don't always do them.
Yeah, and how they're advertised. Like OVA, for example, is kind of like a one-off special thing.
Yeah.
And this one's like, no, this is the own thing. It's own.
And there's some that we wanted to catch up to, like whether it be Odd Taxi, Odd Taxi movie,
Quintessential Quintuplets,
and then
Laid Back Camp.
Laid Back Camp. Yeah. So there's some movies. There's a bunch of movies that we here on the 950 Club need to catch up on.
Yep.
But I'm excited for that time I got reincarnated as a slime movie. I want to see what material they cover. I like the way this last season ended, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with the movie and how they skip ahead.
Yeah.
Now for the big ones that people I think are going to be really excited about. There's ones that we're excited about, and I think there's ones that people are going to be excited about. So I'll start with To Your Eternity Season 2.
Okay, and I was meaning to ask, did you finish the first season?
I did not.
I only saw the first episode.
Really?
It's a depressing first episode.
It's a depressing show.
Yeah.
It's not a show. It's not a lighthearted show.
No.
This is a show about life and death.
Yep.
It's about the exploration of what it means to be human and what it means to be immortal around a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
humans. Like how you become, how the main character becomes more and more complex, but at the same time, it's that sense of loss. Like you want to talk, like I think that this show is more of a gut punch than Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, and it's a reality check kind of thing.
Well, you're talking about an immortal.
Yeah.
The guy, he's immortal, and so you're going to talk about life and death. You're going to talk about life and death in essentially what plays out as a medieval time period where there were things that would kill you even faster than now.
Yeah.
And so to see him on that journey, like I watched up to the last, I think there was the last 4 episodes of the season, and part of it was that I wasn't in the right headspace to continue watching it because it had gotten into kind of like a safe space where he was just living with one person and you could see him growing and getting accustomed to the world, and then the deity that created him came and said, hey, this isn't going to help you grow.
Yeah.
How are you going to defeat your foe if you don't keep growing? And he's like, no, I'm going to learn from this person.
Yeah.
And so he makes this choice to become essentially human, but the world comes knocking on his door like that's not your fate, that's not your
Yeah.
destiny.
Yep.
And I think that's what while I want to go back and finish that so I can watch the second season, and I think it'll be one of those shows where it'll be worthwhile.
Okay.
Yep. And then we jump into Chainsaw Man. Yes. I don't know much about this. I bought the first manga. I haven't read it yet, but like people seem to be going crazy online for this one.
And
The hype is like extreme.
well, it's one of those things where we don't really talk about as much, like that type of new crop that's coming in for anime manga, because at this transitional stage, the past year explosion, of course, younger kids getting into Demon Slayer and Boruto, stuff like that. But Chainsaw Man's a different sect. They're definitely like the Ito crowd, like these high schoolers, these older people, like, oh, I'm getting into manga, I'm getting into anime. This is quirky, this is cool, but dark. And Chainsaw Man is exploitation. It's a Chainsaw Man. However,
Well,
it's a big however kind of series.
Well, it looks like it's gonna be straight up horror, because
Well, they get more like similar to Jujutsu Kaisen, where there's a structure.
yeah. Well, it kind of like, I don't know if you remember when we were talking about Gelpiner.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of gives me Gelpiner vibes.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from the visuals and the artwork.
Yeah, the punk aspect of it too.
Yeah, so it's like, but from what I've seen from some of the stuff online, it seems kind of like a crime show.
Similar to Tokyo Revengers in a weird way too. There's
Yeah.
a drama aspect to it.
Well, the way I think it kind of reminds me of the way Tokyo Ghoul was a horror.
that as well. Tokyo Ghoul is
So-
a common comparison. Yeah,
Tokyo Ghoul was a horror anime, but not really.
it's more Yakuza.
Yeah, it was more like this is about different gangs fighting for territory. And so I kind of get that vibe from Chainsaw Man. So let's see.
The creator, he's also in the same tutelage as the creator of Spy Family and the creator of Hell's Paradise. So these are, it's like the Renaissance too. And begrudgingly, I've mentioned this to everyone in the 950 Club that I'm going to like it more than I'm going to think I am. But is it going to be good? I don't know. Still going to be like one of those things where, okay, I get it. Or is it going to be like, this is really good? So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, it kind of reminds me of No Guns, No Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting
ridiculous premise that it's like, okay, it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm getting the vibe from it, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
The one that I think we're excited about is Spy Family Season 2.
That, of course, that's a given.
Yeah, I think that the hype is good. We want to know. We want more adventures. We want more time in that world. We want more time with Anya and Yor. It's like, and Agent Midnight.
Yep,
It's
yep.
like we want. It's like
it's a given, and it's
Oh, yeah.
complete. It completes the year,
Yeah.
and like we mentioned with the Jamal catch up, that it's a strong contender. And
No, for comfort and
for top of the year.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the popularity, I think the popularity around this show if I don't see this, if this doesn't end up on the best of list for a lot of people, I'd be very surprised.
And one factor is Chainsaw Man. One factor is the Attack on Titan. So yeah.
Well, no, I mean, this year has been, regardless of what you think, this year has been stacked. You have the end of the Demon Slayer Entertainment District.
Arc.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have Attack on Titan, the season 3 part 2, or the final season part 3, whatever part they're on.
Final season, next season, part 2.
Pretty much. You have My Dress Up Darling. You have,
Call of
Night, Spy Family. You have a lot of shows that Made in the Abyss.
Yep.
You have a lot of shows that I think are going
We
to
haven't even
end up
talked
on
about
this.
Made in the Abyss. That's
Why
another
haven't
catch up.
I don't think either of us has watched
We
this.
haven't caught. That's the only one where I've tried to catch up with the first season. I only saw the first 5, and I get it. It's a slow build kind of show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, of course, we can't end this without talking about My Hero Academia season 6.
Yeah, that's a given.
What do you mean a given?
Well,
yeah, it's gonna be huge.
I know, that's what I mean.
But
in the 4th and 5th season, like the fandom is of course like hesitant, like it's too long. Get out of here. I get it. It's one of the few shows where I caught up more than One Piece.
Well, it's a shonen. I mean, shonen go on forever.
And Black Clover, how many episodes they have? Yeah.
Well, Black Clover ended. That ended. But this is My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the creator, unfortunately, he's having health problems, so he's definitely trying to finish up as quick as he can.
Well, this isn't like I don't think that this is something that you can just brush away, Jack.
No. What I mean is like it's a given. Like the hype is there.
I know, but this is the show I think that brought in another generation.
Yes.
Of anime fans.
Yes.
This is gonna be like their Dragon Ball or their Naruto or their One Piece.
Yeah.
Where this is the show that brought them into anime, especially within the last few years of the pandemic.
Yeah.
This is that show that kind of made them anime fans.
Yeah.
And
I know.
Yeah.
And like I said, because of the fallback of like the criticism because of season 5. Season 5 is a different beast. It is. And season 4 at the end is kind of weird. But overall,
I think with season 5, I think even the creator of the manga said that, and you get this, especially when you have longer material like this.
Yeah.
You get moments where the artist or the creators are not really sure. They go in directions that they're not even really sure about. And then after...
And they had a movie too. This new one apparently was tied in with the actual arc of the manga. It gets confusing. It gets muddled.
Well, we'll see what happens. All right. So that's my fall preview.
Yeah.
2022. What was the show that I didn't mention that you were looking for?
It's coming out. We're recording on September 10th of 2022.
Yeah.
In 5 days from now, Netflix. Yeah. Fucking Netflix. They're going to have a Studio Trigger production called Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
That's what you were looking for?
Yeah.
The Cyberpunk.
It's Studio Trigger. Studio Trigger. Kill a Kill. Darling in the Franxx. DNA.
I bought that game for the PS4.
Oh, so you're more in sense with Cyberpunk.
It was
instead of Trigger.
It was the glitchiest disaster.
It healed. It's gone better. Oh, you're the OG though. Like this is gonna be amazing.
Look, Jack.
Day one.
They promised us the world.
Every game does that.
No. Every game might do that.
Well, the hype, yeah.
They might do that.
Relating to with No Man's Sky, with Abominations. I don't even want to mention anymore.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. Abomination. But okay, Cyberpunk, to its fault, weirdly had a weird lapse in schedule. That's all.
Wait, the show?
Well, with the release of the game. And it patched up pretty good. And the PlayStation 5 it runs pretty good from what I've heard.
The game was shit on the PS4. It was absolute shit on the PS4.
I'm not denying that.
It was the glitchiest, messiest disaster ever. So when they announced that they were...
It was something with the PR, something with the tech.
They actually announced the anime before the game got its
because
bad reputation.
yes.
So when they announced that, and I knew it was Studio Trigger, I was excited for it. Then I played the glitchy disaster that was the PS4, and I completely forgot that they were making the anime. And then I think that somebody shared a trailer, and the trailer looked pretty good. But I'm telling you, man,
Oh, Edwin.
my difficulties with that game have prejudiced me against the anime.
Well,
So it's gonna have
I'm
Studio
going.
Trigger is gonna have a hard time convincing me.
The trailer looks great,
We'll see.
dude.
We will see.
You have to drop the hate.
We'll see, man. Look, this thing has some bad. Like everybody who's played the game on the PS5 have told me that it's amazing.
And it patched up.
That,
Like I
yeah.
said, I think the problem was the PR and the bullshit.
And I had moments with the game where I played it, and I did enjoy the fact that, my 2 playthroughs of the game, I didn't get very far, but what I did was the 2 playthroughs were the storyline was completely and totally different each time that I played it.
Yeah.
Like the just like it was a totally different experience. And I, just by making different choices, I had a different experience in the game. There's not a lot of games that can be that that highly detailed and do that at the same time.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really impressive. But like I said, I had my problems with the game.
I know.
I love Studio Trigger. I love a lot of their,
Well,
productions.
to be fair with Studio Trigger as well, they've had hits and misses too. This one I'm sold on because it's not because of the video game aspect of it. I'm not even sure the video game is going to honor the story itself. And part of me with that announcement with the new patch for Cyberpunk, I was hoping for like a switch and pace, like they do a kill land, something bullshit, or even have Ryuko as a character or as a custom mod. No, the trailer itself looks like its own thing. I'm not sure how many episodes it's going to be. Yes, fucking Netflix. It's going to be on Netflix. But the art, oh my God, because it's brand new animal. Like what they envisioned brand new animal, like the cyberpunk aspects of it, the neon lights, the color schemes, and the action looks great. It looks great.
Well, I think that what you're hoping for is kind of like Studio Trigger's take on a Ghost in the Shell.
That as well, because they did with Darling Frank, that was their take on Neon Genesis.
Yeah, so I think that's what you're hoping for.
Yep.
I don't think that's what you're gonna get.
We'll see.
I think you're gonna get an absolute mess of an anime.
A glitch episode.
Yes.
The first episode will be glitches all around.
There's not gonna be a first episode.
Well, Keanu Reeves had to change the plans with the voice acting.
The whole thing's gonna crash the way it did on the console.
And then it'll be like the next Studio Trigger production will be No Man's Sky. Can't wait.
Oh no. No. That game has, what? I'm not going to get into it.
Well, it's not. We'll save that for after hours video game bashing special.
There you go. Yep. Let's do Jack's upcoming manga of 2022.
Yeah, and with our previews, we don't necessarily dive into this, and that's one of those things where like I never really saw a good source or like a good like structured like announcement thing. And yeah, there are delays. COVID's still a thing, of course. Even with anime, it's hard to keep up with a lot of stuff, or at least with releases. So with these upcoming manga things, hey, we were talking about this in our last episode about light novels. It's going to be a thing. Jujutsu Kaisen's going to have a light novel series. One called Summer of Ashes and Autumn of Dust. Separate stories. Hey, it's quicker to make than manga, so looks like it's going to be A-okay. Demon Slayer as well. Even though the manga series has ended, they have 2 new light novels coming. The Flower of Happiness and Demon Slayer One Wing Butterfly and Signs from the Wind. It seems like it's like stories that are given by the original creators and like ghostwriting from there kind of thing. So they're given the right and privilege for it. One that reminds me of Spy Family is one called Mission Yozakura Family. And yeah, it's pretty much like a spy, like stepbrother, stepsister kind of scenario, or like a kiddie version of Spy Family. We have an interesting one that's more technical. It's called the Shonen Jump Guide to Making Manga.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty much like from them, the source, like, oh, if you want to join this field, it's actually not that hard. So they give you a guideline and shit like that. That's what happened with Komi Can Communicate. Like it was a contest. So I'm pretty sure they tell you the structure of getting your submission in.
Cool.
And it's selling in America, so that's quite fascinating. One called Mermaid Scales in Town of Sand. This looked interesting because this is the only cover where I looked at judging by the cover. And yeah, it's a simple premise. It looks into the livelihoods of merman people.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and the artist I had to look up, like, did she do anything else? The art author is Yoko Komori, and she also did a series to Mayu. Like, the art I've looked at is really good. One is called Dan Dan Dan, and this one's interesting because it's about this nerd who must fight powerful spirits and aliens, all vying for the secret power of the family jewel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's from the assistant of the creator of Chainsaw Man, Fujimoto Tatsuki.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and Fire Punch as well. And speaking of him, Tatsuki Fujimoto, he has a manga series coming out on his own about his life, his
Oh,
upbringing.
cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's a single volume story. Okay, but that for a biography, that's quite unique. And a couple more here. We have one for Halloween season, Hunter's Guild, Red Hood, pretty much like action packed Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Another light novel series I've got to mention, Promised Neverland. People like it. People still read it. I don't even want to get into that because I have to complete it myself. And it's a short story collection, so it's like a compendium. So that seems pretty interesting.
Okay, cool.
And I have to mention this because it is fall season. I'm not crazy about this guy, but I'm not going to baby Asheville. He is quite unique. He's definitely the Stephen King of the manga world. His name is Junji Ito. He's have a new one called Black Paradox. And finally, we have the one from the creator of Beastars, Paru Itagaki. One that he's doing, it's a short one-off as well. It's about this character who has nothing but nosebleeds. All things. And
okay.
It's called Drip Drip. It's a horror take on it.
Oh,
The cover is pretty gnarly and like it'll sell.
Yeah. Well, his stuff usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, that's our like a whole special fall preview.
That's our summer review,
Fall
preview wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and share. Check out our YouTube channel. Me and Jack are always ready and willing to take your comments. You know, we love you guys. We love doing this show. This is our second season. We're really excited to give you more this season. So just let us know.
Yeah. And thank you. And I hope you could share with our new host platform. And we're trying to upload our old episodes as fast as we can. And yeah, newer episodes are coming faster. So just keep up. And if you have a specific request in mind, let us know.
Yeah. Thank you guys.